Hey guys, welcome back. So, Konami said some more stuff. They said some more dumb stuff. And I just want to talk about it real quick. Nothing too crazy, but then it's just like go through what they've recently come out with, and then some of my ingenious rules that I think could be a thing. Right, but Konami's they're really doing a number on themselves over the last couple of months. With how they've just been handling a lot of their own business. Because also it seems like this might have been a mistake. So we'll just run through what they came out with, which was this is the old it's still in place rules, right? Because they changed something. So this is the different one here, right? So what happens if I'm not done with my match after 15 minutes? I couldn't find the actual initial post, but I did find this, which was if the match is not finished within 50 minutes, the result will be a double loss, which is an insane concept. Rather than just like a draw and then just like teeter back into it. So depending on how it is. So I could be reading it wrong. I don't think I am. Depending who you talk to, it's like, different ways of reading it, I think. But we'll read through it, see if I can come to some understanding of what it is. But it doesn't sound good. It sounds like it's done, right? So when time ends in the round, the match is over. Neither duelist may begin or continue any action that may take place in the game, which doesn't seem right because we have like end of phase rules. So unless they're phasing out end of phase rules, I don't think that's going to do very well at all. I don't think it's going to. I don't think the community's going to like that at all. But if time expires and the match is not finished, it will be a double loss. So a match is considered finished when one of the duelists has either won 2 duels or lost 2 duels. Right? Standard best of 3. If the duelists have completed 3 duels without the match finishing, and there is time remaining in the round, the duelist will go into a 4th duel. So this to me also feels like a never going to happen situation, at least not in any kind of format we have here. I think, because it sounds to me like you win 1, they win 1, you tie to life point loss in round 3 and game 3, and then you have to go into game 4 to decide who's going to win, all before the 45 or the 50 minutes is up, right? So I can't think of anything except for like Master Duel's current Skull Invitation, which I don't think it's current. I think it's old now. I think it was like last week or whatever. Their Skull Invitation event that they did, where both players can lose life points. A lot of because I played Burn for like a week or two, and a lot of Burn cards that do damage to both players tend to do you turn player first. You lose it first, then your opponent loses it. But you'll lose the duel because you lost your life points first. And that's kind of how those things work. Or it's like, because it never really happened, or it's like they've got more life points than you. You take the damage first, then they take the damage. But I'm pretty sure that if you both go down to 0 at the same time with like Ring of Destruction, you lose because you lost your life points first. So this one here, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Probably just in there as like a situational thing, so they've already got the clause there. But if a duelist has won 1 duel and the match is not concluded after 50 minutes, this is the important part, both duels will receive a double loss. So to me that sounds like you can win the first duel, tie in game 2, but because there's no deciding winner because you didn't go into, like, no one lost any life points around that in game 2, there's no decisive winner by time rules, you both just lose. Which also means that if you don't finish game 1 with a deciding winner, you both lose, right? But this does say has won 1 duel and the match is not concluded after 50 minutes. So you win 1, game 2 you draw, you both lose. And that's funny, because realistically, it's if you go back to these ones, right? The time is called whilst duels in the middle of the game, the current game must have a decision on win, loss, or draw. So if once the current game has concluded with a decision to determine the winner of the match by determining the number of games wins or games losses, don't know why you bother with that, but just the wins matter. Each duelist has, for the current match, the duelist with the most game wins will win the match. Now, this rule here gets rid of this rule here, because if you've won game 1 and then you tie in game 2, you're not counting how many wins someone has won, right? You are just foregoing that win and just saying that you both lost, which is funny, right? Then Konami came out and said, earlier today, the Duelist Advance regional qualifier season, blah, 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 posted with an error that included the WCS end of match predictors. This is the World Championship match, which has now been revived. There are no changes to the round time or end of match predictors this weekend's OTS Championship or the regional qualifiers. That's everything before Worlds. The change to the round time and end of match applies to the upcoming World Championship in Paris, France, and our commentators will be discussing it in more detail at the event. We are looking to apply these changes at all events in the future at a later date after the World Championship. Please note details will be finalised. Fair thing to say, right? Like, look, if someone's made a mistake and posted something, alright, whatever, right? And this is just kind of like a, what can we do to make things a bit more fluid, right, with the game, and so then we're not like we're not dealing with all these like ties and stuff like that, or slow playing and stuff like that. I don't think this thing matters anymore. Yeah, this just has the this is just the end of match procedures, which is also pretty interesting. But like these are current. I think these are current ones. You already know what you're doing there. The real take is this whole 50-minute double loss thing, which is interesting. It's an interesting take to have in a game that you've had for 25 years now, 26 years. But this is the way that you're going with it, and so people I think it's funny. I'm hoping it's just kind of like something that they're just toying with, and they probably just released it around the office like, this is an idea, what do you think? And that, then maybe they're testing it for this world to see how it goes. But I don't. It shouldn't make it past Worlds. I don't think. I think there are better ways to do it, which is what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about that next, right? And so, you don't get to see this. I'm going to show you something else. But I have some rulings. That I think are going to be really good. I think they're going to be top notch, right? So, rule change 1. So Master Rule 5 at this point, because I think we're only on 4.5. They saw that. Is it Master Rule 5 or Master Rule we at? We're at Master Rule 5. This is Master Rule 5.5, right? So this is something that's plagued me for the whole time I've been playing, pretty much. Some stuff kind of newer, but I do think that this here could fix a lot of problems, and I don't see these rules being totally wrong. I don't think these rules being totally bad to the point of, it might make the game like hyper unplayable, right? I got a shiny ass head. That's crazy. Anyway, so rule change number 1 would be that players start with 6 cards, and player 2 starts with 6 cards and doesn't draw for their first turn. So there have been too many times where like you're playing, you've got 5 cards, your opponent has 5 cards, they're playing, and you're looking at it going, well, I have to wait for my 6th card to come through to see whether or not I can even play through the board, and then you like top deck, and it's like a droll or a nib or something along those lines, and you're just like, well, could have used you 10 minutes ago when my opponent was going off its nut. And so if you just have 6 to start with and just don't draw for your first turn, then you're always kind of like, if you're at the same kind of card economy across the 2 turns, but it means that there's less dead cards that you could just top deck, right? And so pros for this kind of a rule would be that, like I said, less chance of dead cards in hand when playing into a board, because you've already got all 6. And then you also don't need to wait before conceding. If you look at your 6-card hand, and you can see that you're not going to beat your opponent with these 6 cards, and there's just no chance to it, you can just concede then and go, well, we may as well just go next game because I'm not beating this regardless, right? Or if you do 3 hand trap and they somehow pull out, have a Kiri, and they're just like, yep, I've got the entire Mitsurugi stuff, you're sitting there going, well, I didn't even draw for turn, so that's just kind of done. You just get to concede, and that saves a lot of time. I think that saves a lot of time not having to wait for your opponent's entire combo, which it sounds a bit like a bit of a BM, where it's just like, I'm not going to bother sitting here watching it, but at the same time, that's the game, right? You're sitting there, you're comboing off while your opponent's doing nothing, they know they can't break through your board, they're hoping for a good 6 card, they don't know it, they draw it, it's a full loss, and it's like, alright, let's just go game 2 anyway, and you've just wasted an extra 5 minutes waiting for him to go, right? Not to mention, if you already have all 6 cards in hand, and you do kind of know what your opponent's playing and you know what they're going to end on, you can formulate your plan whilst your opponent's going. Because I think there have been a number of times where I'm playing, or my opponent's going, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do this, this, and this. I top deck a card, and it changes my sequencing entirely. It's like it's just like that there's just completely busted up any plan that I had, and now there's a better one, or there's a different one, or I have to factor this in. It stops, I think, a lot of time waste if you just open with the 6 going second. Also means that like you losing the die roll isn't as bad anymore because you've got that little bit extra chance to kind of play through, but then also doesn't disadvantage going first either, where your opponent has 7 cards across 2 turns, right? Cons would just be like more chances of being multi-hand trapped going first, so then you end on nothing. That could happen a lot more because like Imperm and Nib become a higher ratio, more 4 losses or more Mulch Armies just mean more draws in general. And then there's like potential for more dead hands going second, right? Like if you draw all 6 and go, this does nothing, and I'm not drawing a card for turn, we'll just concede it. It's just a loss. Sure, you save a lot of time, but sometimes I find that the post side cut games tend to go for a little bit longer, just because not a whole lot of decks right now lose to blowout cards, so you do have to still kind of think a bit. And it also makes cards like Talents, which is at 1, just a little bit stronger, because you hand trap them, they talent you, they rip a card, and there's no chances for you to get anything back. They've just ripped that card and it's kind of gone, and you don't even have, if they rip a good one, you don't even have a chance to get it back again. So those are the things I still think it can slow down. It alleviates time issues. It stops a lot of downtime for players who are just sitting there waiting for their opponents to finish and then go, oh, I still can't play through anyway. I think it stops a lot of that. Alright, rule 2. I think that cards that gain and lose life should only matter in time if it brings life points to 0. Right? So shorten that down. First blood should be the only damage that counts after time has been called. As in, like, going for the battle and attacking with a monster should be the only time when the match should end after time. Right? So stuff like Gaga, like Cowboy, shouldn't work. You shouldn't just be able to Gaga for game. Oh, you're down on life points. It's over. Spooky Dogwood shouldn't be used. Shouldn't be a deciding factor for winning or losing when you got a few minutes left on the clock. Because if they go to spooky you, they're always doing it when you're about to special summon, much like a 4 loss. They're going to do it at the optimal time. They gain. You're sitting there going, I can't make them lose any life points because I don't have a burn, or they gain 2,500 life points. You just lose, right? And then in the opposite spectrum of stuff like that, it would completely stop players being punished for playing certain decks or certain cards. So I bring up such as the Solemn cards, or Valmonica, which loses life points to do half of its going first combo, and then gains life points for doing most of its going second stuff, right? Same with Dynamorphia. Dynamorphia could probably be a pretty good deck if it didn't just blow out half its life points. I bring up the Solemn cards in the sense that you pay life points. If I'm going first in game 3, this is something I happened a lot when I was playing Rescue Ace. If I'm going first in game 3, I set 4 SP Turbulence pass, right? But I set a Judgment as well, so I've set 5, right? And they Harpies me, and I Solemn Judgment it, lose half my life points. We go to time a minute later, I just lose. And the reason why that's not good is because I am being punished for playing a card and deck building in a way to protect what my deck is meant to do. Because in the alternative, where let's say I don't put the Judgment in because I don't want to lose the time because I'm paying half my life points, they Harpy me anyway, I lose my whole back row, and I still don't get to win. I still don't even have a chance to win, and then they can just burn me, go to battle, swing over SP, whatever they want to do, right? Like, that's the reason why I think that First Blood battling should be the defining factor to what after time, right? Now, to expand on it a bit, where it comes down to like if it brings life points to 0, if you're an idiot and you burn yourself for all your life points past time, that's your fault, man. You hit 0. You're an idiot. If you're battling kind of back and forwards, or like let's say you do some burn and then you swing, or you did a swing, go back, and then you manage to burn them later on after time for whatever's left, that counts. You still got them to 0. You were smart with your plays. I bring up right now like a Lacrima with a card that I'm fully in the mindset of thinking it got banned because it burns. And then right now we've got Heavy Borga in the VS stuff, where it's like it just summons itself and then can just burn that turn and next turn. If they're only dealing 3,000 damage to you through a burn, it shouldn't count. You should have to go to battle and swing, because a lot of these effects are really, you can't really do anything about it. They're gonna burn you at some point. So what are you gonna do? Like imperm them on your turn and their turn? You're not sitting on a double imperm. They don't use any resources to use the burn. They just have to reveal, right? And then when time hits, he's like, yeah, cool, I lost 3k. Like, it's not how the game should run. The whole point is to battle and bring your life points down to 0. That's how you win. If you don't do that, you shouldn't just win because you gain a little bit or they lose a little bit in any respect other than I managed to break through their board, grind them out for a couple of turns, and then swing in for some level of damage. They did First Blood at States, I think, when... I think time was called in the 3rd round. There was no definitive winner because they were 1-1. So they started again into a game 4, and First Blood was the rule. It was whoever dealt the first bit of damage through battle won. That should be the rule set across the board. Locals, regional, states, YCS, OT, worlds. That should be the blanket rule. You have to battle. You have to battle, and you have to do damage through battle. Means piercing will matter, because piercing hasn't mattered in 2 decades, right? Stuff like that. It will make you think a bit differently rather than just 2 rank 4s into a cowboy, or it's just off cards like Lacrima being banned too. Lacrima was hilarious to bring back so many bodies as it did. Not that those things go into anything at the moment anyway, so who cares? But it was the burn that did it. So I think no more burning. No more being punished for playing decks that pay life points. Don't make me pay life points for a cost and then say, but you lose the game. Because a lot of those decks that lose life points for cost, they tend to suck anyway, right? Let people play what they want to play without letting the rules dictate why they win or lose, rather than just be, I was just bad at the game. My rule 3 was also about First Blood. It's led into the same thing. I just lumped it all together. But my pros would be leads to less mistakes from fast playing. I can't tell you how many times people have I like to give my opponent another turn, right? When we're going to time, just to be well, did I really win? But man, if I'm fast playing, I make so many mistakes, and I've seen it a dozen times, make so many mistakes. And it's just well, I probably should have won if we had an extra 5 minutes on us, but just didn't. It lessens the likelihood of slow playing, I think, because you're going to want to try and get in for battle before your opponent does. Now, so you don't have to fast play, but you do have to think about, can I at least do some battle damage before they can? And that's a whole different way of thinking, I think. I also think that if we don't care so much about time rules, time rules should still be not time rules, time should be there because we can't be going for hours on end. But if we don't care so much about time rules, then it means it leads to more interesting plays rather than just, like I said, some sort of way to burn or anything like that. It'd be how can I protect myself from my opponent? I will need to last another turn. They can't attack me. You'll have to play your deck slightly differently to last that time thing. I do think that it should be on a 2-turn clock though, a 2, 3, maybe 4-turn clock, so that it should only go for maybe another 10 minutes, because we really can't be dragging out events. They do go for a long time anyway. So that was the con. It could drag out tournaments, but if you do have a turn count and then no one's done any battle damage in 4 turns, say, you just get the draw. So then it's 1-1 draw, or same match. It's 1-1 and you're in game 2. It's a draw, and then whoever won game 1 wins the whole round type of deal. Right? And then for my last rule change, I think this one's a big one. This is one I've been gone on about since the beginning of me playing, right? Which is the point system. I think the point system inherently sucks, right? I think it's terrible. So right now the point system is if you win, you get 2 points. If you lose, you get nothing. And if you draw, you get a point, right? Now, for some reason, drawing gets you a point, but losing gets you nothing. I kind of get it, kind of don't get it. So I think it should be a point per win, right? So if you win game 1, you win game 3, but your opponent wins game 2, You get 2 points, they get 1 point. Because they did take a game off you. Because a big issue with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the dice roll. Right? The dice roll is a big issue where it's like, oh, they went first in game 1 and went first in game 3. That's why they won both. Unless you pull some of your non-engine blowouts in those formats, you were probably losing game 1 and game 3 just because your opponent gets to set up more than you. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but still there are definitely a lot of duels that everyone plays in. These aren't like niche situations I'm talking about where your opponent wins the die roll, you didn't get to set up, you just, so because then you can argue that if you had won the die roll, you would have won game 1 and 3 and they would have won game 2, same basis. So he wins 2, you win 1. If you blow your opponent out though and you win 2-0, which means that you won on the draw and on the play, you just get 3 points because you're that much better than your opponent. And then if you lose, you get 0. You get 0 points because you suck. Why are you losing? Why are you losing both 2 games, right? Why are you losing 2 games straight, going first and going second, right? And I think that they will get rid of like tiebreakers. I keep getting paired up. I'll lose like game 1 for whatever reason because I play crap, right? And then there'll be like a tie involved somewhere in our group. And then I'll be paired up against someone who just won the last 2. And I'm like, well, I'm not winning this one either, right? So it gets rid of the tiebreak thing, removes the issue of losing dice rolls, and I think it's just more of it really does show who is doing really well, I think. I think it's a better show of a better duelist, of who can more consistently win going first and going second, rather than just, oh yeah, I won it. But you look no different than someone who 2-1'd everyone, as opposed to someone who 2-0'd everyone. Like, because then it doesn't matter in the bigger events, right? Like if you 2-0 everyone all the way up to day 2, you in the top 64 or the top 32 or whatever numbers they're doing, you're in the same dropout at that point. You just then duel up until you win, right? Like your points don't matter in day 2. It just puts your placing in there. But people like to win because they like the street cred, right? Like they like looking good. And if you 2-0 everyone and you're like what's that? Like if you do 10 rounds in day 1, right? And you get 3 points in every single duel because you 2-0'd everyone, you got 30 points. Or else the person who 2-1'd everyone would be at 20 max. Yeah, they'd be at 20 max. So you're just that much better. I think for the ego, it would help people out. I think people would like that. I also think the buy shouldn't be that good of a win either. But I don't know how you fix that. That's just the point system. I think maybe in this case, if you beat the buy, like if you get the buy should be a standard 2-1 win, not a 2-0 win. So it should be like if you get the buy, it should be like you went 2-1 with them, not that you went 2-0 with them because they don't exist. And that should at least bring that down. You still won, but it's not a blowout win, right? And then don't mess with all these tiebreakers where you're just like, oh well, yeah, you beat the buy. The buy didn't exist. You didn't do anything, right? But you shouldn't be at the same par as someone who's 2-0ing everyone. So yeah, I think if anyone knows Mr. Konami, tell them to watch this video because I think that these rules are definitely better than the double loss. I don't know why you'd bother doing that. So comment down below if you agree. If not, write something. We'll talk about it. If you have some rules that you think are pretty good as well, write them down. Get a discussion going. Get people talking about it. I see people complaining a lot about the rules, but not about how to fix the rules. And so yeah, I'll let you guys mull on that, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.